Welcome, welcome, beautiful yogis. I'm so happy that we are here together. Thank you for coming. We all need to quiet down the world around us and inside us. And that's where we'll do it together, quietening down the world inside us. As I don't know about you, but mine gets pretty noisy. There are so many interesting things and difficult things and stuff to think about and figure out. And I look forward to this time with you. So you need props. We're going to start with the open book pose. So books or blocks to create a recliner with your bolster. And then it's nice to have blankies or pillows on each side. So our first pose, we lie back along the length of the bolster so that we find the midline and snuggle a little bit away or a little bit towards that bolster end with your lower back, with your sacrum, until you feel comfy. And then, as you lie your arms each side, let them fall away, supported as well as over the edge, as it were, as that over the edge is gravity, allowing our arms and our hearts and our chest and our ribs to open, get more space. And as for the lower body, we have options. Just so you know, we always have options. You can put your feet in cobbler's pose, supported by the blankies on each side, or you can let your legs lie out straight. And so the invitation with this and each and every pose is to get comfortable. And then this arriving by closing the eyes. This is not only symbolic, it's very physical as we close off from the outer to the inner, arriving here and allowing now the deep nose breath to fill your lungs. Fill, fill, fill those lungs until you feel you're full. Little pause. Let's blow this breath away through the pursed lips. And we do it a few more times in exactly that way. The nose receives your inhale. Receive it generously as much as your body is open to this particular breath. We treasure it, we hold it a moment, and then we blow it away as though blowing away the dandelion seeds into the wind. Soft, sweet and gentle breath. Please stay with this breathing in your own timing. This arriving, this very physical act of arranging the body in this way, in this mental heart decision to show up and to gift ourselves this hour and some, to release, to replenish, to restore. And so while the body opens in this particular shape and we breathe in this particular way, we've set in motion all kinds of internal processes that operate physically, operate in the nervous system, operate in the emotional body and in the mental body. The breath is our most immediate medicine to see us through moment by moment, and in particularly when things get challenging, And I know the world is a challenging place. It's in great disarray. And here we find refuge in our breath and in the sweetness of our own body breathing. And then that added bonus of doing it together. So even though we're each in our own home sanctuary, we are so connected. I feel extremely connected to you all. I see you arrive on the Zoom screen. And it's just so uplifting to see that you've decided to come and to share this time together. Stay with the lovely mouth exhalations. Until it feels enough and you are ready to exhale through your nose. How do we know that? You will feel it and know it yourself. So we breathe now in the way that works for your body. But we stay with long, slow, deep, and complete. With that little pause at the top. And we'll add that little pause at the end of your breath. So absorbed by the simplicity and the profundity. It's both and. Resting in our own breath. And what we have set in motion now to relax and to heal. We heal body and mind with this lovely yogic gift. A lot of what happens is below consciousness. It's extraordinary how all the cells in our body are listening to our thoughts, sensing our emotions, and they respond. And so we begin with the beautiful gift of gratitude. Gratitude is available right now inside your being. So grateful to be here with you. So grateful to be with all of you. Some of you are practicing together in the same space. How precious is that? But whether alone or together, we are creating a field of resonance where we can allow and receive the gift, the medicine of this slow, conscious breath. Especially the little resting moments. There's a little magic when we rest a moment at fullness and again at emptiness. The kind of stretching the breath longer. And while our group intention is to come to this practice to release what's in the way, our worries, concerns, our upsets, our feelings of helplessness, to restore and find ourselves again as who we truly are in essence, spirit beings living in a body. You might have a particular personal intention, and the invitation is to breathe through and in your heart, feeling your breath at your heart, allowing that prayer, intention, or affirmation to arise into your awareness. You might formulate it into a simple statement and place it in your heart. So these prayers and affirmations are important because we're letting the universe know what we want, what we need, what we want help with. It's our own declaration, as it were. And as we rest just a little bit more in this position, we'll practice the square breath. And all that means is we're going to lengthen the little pauses. So let's do the first one together. Go ahead, exhale completely. Now we inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold this breath. 2, 3, 4. Exhaling. 4, 3, 2, 1. The empty moment. 1, 2, 3, 4. New inhale. Count for yourself. Relax as you hold your breath. Smoothly let your breath go out. And then rest with no breath. So this is the tell. If this is a struggle, your square is too big. Make it smaller along all sides. Or stay as you are. And some of you are very practiced in this. You could make your square bigger. But we've moved into a pranayama, an exercise in breathing that has a very strong effect. One of the main effects is it interrupts the random thinking. But it's more than that, as we shall surely find out for ourselves as we progress and complete the practice. Continue square breathing. One more cycle of the square breath. And as you complete it, let go the count. Let go the shaping of the breath and switch modes, switch channels as it were, and allow your breath to just be as it is and be the witness of that. Softening into the natural breath. Lovely, everybody. And so now let's complete this particular opening pose. So I invite you to just bring your knees together. You might use your hands to do that. Move slowly. We are so not in a hurry. We're in out of clock time now. So we just go at our own pace, roll off to the side and come to hands and knees if you're able, as we now set up for child's pose with a twist. So I'd like to have a little padding. We've got our 2 blankets. One we'll just open to plop down on left butt cheek, mermaid style. And the second blanket you could use under your knee, your top knee, give that a little cushy. And then we lift, hand each side of the bolster, lift your trunk and turn towards it, moving your ribs from your waist, and then lie forward. Lie forward on your recliner, on your left ear, left bottom, left ear, arms relaxed at each side. Know that you can adjust your legs. And so the main part of this pose is the upper body in that lovely, gentle twist that is supported as we rest forward. And in this shape, let your breath come deep into your lower back. Feel the sweetness of your breath as it rises and falls and fills your back, especially the parts that you maybe haven't felt today. Bring your breath in deep. And as we rest in this internal awareness of sensations and breath and quietude, I love to just give the context of where we are in the cosmos, our relationship to the skies, because we are interbeing all the time with ourselves, with one another, with the earth, with the animals, with the plants. But we're also in relationship to the sun and the moon, which just a few hours ago, the sun and the moon were together, conjunct. Carl Jung says conjunctio, sacred marriage of sun and moon. We call it a new moon. It's the beginning of a new lunar cycle. And we're in the area of the sky of the Virgo, the priestess, the one who heals, serves others, and always does her best to do the right thing, and sometimes gets all snarled up in the doing of that. All snarled up by trying to be just right and perfect. And so the invitation is, if you have a predilection for that, to give yourself a break. We don't have to do it perfectly, but we do our best. And so this compassionate feeling of your body breathing, at the time of a new lunar cycle, we're also invited to consider how we might, with the themes of each lunar cycle, and of course there are 12, sometimes 13 in a year, and they have different themes. And this one has to do with the simplicity of everyday tasks, how we might do them mindfully, carefully, with diligence, not obsessiveness. How we might care for one another, offer kindness, offer healing. There is a feminine quality to this particular lunation. Just resting and breathing is enough. And one of the gifts of this particular sign is the quality of discerning. And to discern anything, we have to see clearly. And that often means wading through a lot to see clearly. The shadow is, of course, coming from our old patterning of judging when the world is not right. You're not doing it right. And I know that's an easy one for all of us, especially when we feel we're experts in something. Very easy to get critical of people doing it another way. And we all know that judgments and judging one another has greatly divided our world. And how are we going to get through that? But we're not here to solve that, just to allow these reflections to float through you. And if anything resonates, it'll stick with you. Allow your breath to flow. Tend your lower back. Even here, we could begin to lengthen the exhalation. Fill up with enough breath, and then really trace that exhalation all the way until you're empty. And then the inhale will just show up, fill you again. There's something very satisfying about breathing until there's no air left. Because we kind of drop deeper. We have 2 more cycles of your long exhalation on this side. And so from here, we're going to make our way up. Use your hands. Use your hands to push up and away. You can stay on your butt and swivel around, or you can come via the knees. And if you're using that blankie under your knee, then bring it over to the other side as we Drop onto the right butt cheek. Snuggle up close, rotate and approach the bolster to lie down, beginning on your right ear. You may stay there or you might change your mind and go on your left ear. Always with kindness and without struggle. So we've left our ego outside of the room. We've nothing to prove here. Just drop into a lovely puddle of relaxation. Still, the long exhalations will support your relaxation here. And so discernment is that capacity that we all have, and certainly one we can grow and cultivate, is making clear and informed distinctions between things, whether that's people, behavior, objects, or ideas. Discernment is about seeing features and categories, about sorting and sifting, framing and filtering, about separating the signal from the noise. Fundamentally, discernment is about seeking insight and understanding. It's not about criticizing, accusing, or dogmatically insisting. And what really matters about discernment is your inner state. That's how we know. That's how we know. And we all know how awful it is to be judged, and how contracting it is to be in a place of judgment about the world and other people. It puts us in a contracted state that's not a relaxed state, it's not a flow state. It's a holding, it's a clenching. We really don't need to do that too much. But discernment is a Sanskrit word, and it's one of the high values of yoga. Viveka. Viveka is discernment. That's our cultivation. But the two are quite closely related, discernment and judgment. Judgment is definitive. Discernment is more open, because we know that everything shifts and changes. It's not an easy practice because our culture, our media, is full of criticism and judgment and loud condemnations that quite frankly make reading the media very unpleasant and to be avoided as much as you can. And even though we can blame the media for the polarization that we find ourselves in, it's up to each and every one of us to disentangle ourselves from that polarization and to find our own truth. And we do that with discernment, learning to see clearly. And right now we're in a beautiful practice of disengaging, of resting in our own being, of clearing away contractions, held patterns with each long exhalation. You might even rest a moment at the end of the exhalation. See how that feels. It should happen naturally and easily, not with a goal of having to hold your breath, not at all. Just a little moment, awaiting the inhale. Viveka, the Sanskrit word for discernment, is about seeing things as they are. Insight is seeing into something from our inner self, not from our rigid standards, opinions, or social pressures. And when we use Viveka, we are tapping into something much deeper than our egos. Our egos pass judgment. Viveka has deeper and wider qualities that bring us to a deeper understanding. Nice, everyone. Let's complete this side. Gently make your way back up. Third in our sequence of the child's pose can be child's pose over the bolster. For some, this is doable. For me, it's doable with a blankie tucked in to give my knees a bit more space. And then to lie forward, full frontal on the bolster, no twist. Head could be one way or the other. And if this is lovely for you, be here. And your option is to lie full frontal with your legs extended out behind you. So choose that if your knees are bothersome. If you're not sure, this is crocodile pose, and it looks like this. So I've got the bolster under my tummy. Not good if you have vulnerabilities there. Not good if you're pregnant. But if doable, try this. Whole body breathes in, whole body breathes out. And the little pause at the end of your exhale so indicates to the nervous system that you're okay. That you're okay and you can relax more, and your nervous system will adjust to that and let you go into the relaxed state more deeply, which is exactly what we want. Long, complete exhalations, and with perhaps a little drop-in moment, dropping into that gap of nothing. And so one of the qualities that help us with Viveka, with discernment and understanding, is compassion. When we understand other people, where they come from, why they behave in a certain manner, why they believe thought forms that to us are ludicrous, bizarre, and misinformed, if we can look deeply Look deeply and see where that might have come from. How perhaps there was programming in that direction, and this is a gut reaction. We all know what a gut reaction is, a quick reaction where we suddenly hurl a nasty thought, word, swear word at another. For some, it translates into violence, not only with language. This is not helpful for our world. And so seeing deeply invites us to understand where someone was coming from, and if we cannot see that, to at least be open to compassion. You might have heard the lovely story that Jack Cornfield tells on this subject about the person in the checkout line in the supermarket and getting really, really impatient because the person in front of them was taking forever. They were just chatting. The cashier chatting to the woman holding the baby. And the woman holding the baby, oblivious to everything and everyone else. And they're all taking great delight in the baby and chatting and going on, and the people behind are tapping their toes and rolling their eyes as like, I need to get through this. And so initially that judgment, and then stepping forward to hear from the cashier, who now has tears of joy in her eyes and says, thank you for your patience. That was my little child. My mother brought my child for me so we could have a little moment together while I work here the long hours. And so when we understand why people behave in a way that inconveniences or offends us, sometimes there's just a beautiful explanation, and we can melt into compassion through understanding. As yogis, each and every one of us is part of making the world a more beautiful place. And we can do it in the simplest ways. The ways of the priestess, the Virgo, kindness, generosity, patience. Aware of our own shadow, of the opposites of all of those. Nice, everyone. And so we'll complete this pose now. You can come up to all fours. If you've been in child's pose, give your legs a little stretch. One at a time. And we'll set up now for the seated forward bend. So we're going to make a little table. If you've got yoga blocks, use them this way, upright. Place your bolster across. If you don't have that, you can use your chair, nearby dining chair or coffee table. Little seat, folded blankie. And the seated forward bend has options with your legs. For some, it feels wonderful to just have straddle legs out straight and lie forward in this way. Or this is a lot on your legs, they happen to be a little tight, bring them in. Bring them in, tuck them in, come into an easy cross-legged position. And what matters here is the distance from your sit bones to your bolster inviting a nice long spine. So your table could be higher, your table might be lower, depending on your flexibility, your comfort level. Always, always be comfortable. It really is a beautiful healing practice to rest and breathe. And so stay with it. Give yourself to it fully. I have a little story for you. You might already have heard this story, but I'll just read it just for the fun of it, as it is part of our theme. One beautiful summer's day, a lazy grasshopper was chirping and sitting and playing games just as he did every day. A hard-working ant passed by carrying a huge leaf that he was taking back to the ant's nest. And the grasshopper said to the ant, "All you ants do is work all day. You should be more like me and play, play, play." The ant replied, "I'm storing food for the winter season, and you should be working for just the same reason. What will you eat when the weather gets cold? And how will you feed your hungry household?" The grasshopper laughed. "All your ants do is work and worry. Slow down, don't be in such a hurry. Just look around, there's plenty of food. Don't give me advice, that's just plain rude." The ant kept working, the grasshopper kept playing, and winter soon came. The ant had prepared for the winter and had just enough food stored in the nest to last through the cold, harsh winter. Now that winter had arrived, the grasshopper couldn't find any food and soon became very hungry. But he remembered the hard-working ant he'd made fun of during the summer. And the grasshopper went to the ant's nest and asked for food. The ant, who was still busy keeping the food clean and dry, said, "I toiled to save food for the winter freeze while you spent the summer playing in ease. I stored just enough food for the winter, it's true, but I can't feed you all winter or I'll starve too." The ant gave the grasshopper a few crumbs. But the grasshopper was cold and miserable and hungry all winter. The next summer, the grasshopper worked hard to store food for the upcoming winter. And that next winter, Grasshopper was well fed and happy, and he had learned to think ahead and plan for the future. That's the end of the story. So, it does pay off to be productive, to be of service, to create value. And when we embody these, we live a life of value and purpose. At this moment, we need no food. We need not plan for winter. We simply rest. Rest, receive, allow. We're here for 5 more long exhalations, and you don't need to count, I'll do that. This last exhalation, little pause. And then slowly make your way up. Make your way up to sit in a way that you are comfortable. So you might change your leg position. And we'll pause here in the upright seat for a little pranayam. And today's pranayam is alternate nostril breathing. So, your right hand thumb, close lightly your right nostril. You can rest your index and middle on your brow. Your ring finger is going to be moving and working, so have that free. Your inhale is through the open nostril, your left. Close it up, please, with the ring finger. Lift your thumb, exhale through your right. Inhaling right. Close it up with your thumb, lift your index finger and breathe out through your left. The left stays open for in. And switch to exhale, opening your right. Hold the breath out, little pause, stay with the right, inhale. When you're full, close it up. Exhale left, smoothly all the way out, and at the end a little pause, that little drop. Stay with the left, inhale. Top of breath, close it up. Right side exhales. And there's a little moment of no breath. Right side in. Switching for exhalation, see if you can slow down the exhalation. And rest for a heartbeat or two at the end. And staying on that same side, breathe in. Switching to breathe out. So go ahead now in your own timing. It's a very powerful gift of yoga, this alternate nostril breath. And the key to this is to simply do it, so it can have its way with you and affect the changes that we're after, which is calming, centering. Please keep going until you find yourself exhaling through your left nostril. And as you get there, at the end of that breath and the little pause, let your hand come to rest down. You might even turn your palms up, thumb to index, and feel the breath at your nostrils coming through both. In and out. Your inner gaze at your brow. And the feeling of the breath at your nostrils. Lovely, everyone. Lower your chin, open your eyes, palms down. And we set up now for our next pose, which is going to be elevated legs. So you have some options here. If you have a wall space, lie on your back and let your legs just lie up the wall, tucking your sit bones right close to the corner there, and baseboard if you have one. And if not, we'll just leave our table here and swing the legs over that. So your seat becomes your pillow, blankie. Lie down, and we're all going to feel the loveliness of letting the lower back and the whole spine lie on the mat, completely supported now after the forward bend and the sitting up. So this is a lovely counter pose. Elevated legs. Whole of the back now melting into the ground. So this is one of the loveliest, most accessible of the restorative poses. You can do it when your body's tired, when your mind is tired. Sometimes when the mind is tired, we have a sort of inner rebel that doesn't want to do what we know would be good for us. Wants to go for something destructive. Food or TV or a drink. Not that they're destructive, but this is medicine. This is self-care, self-love. Feel it, receive it. And so with practice we can discern, see our habitual responses, and make clear decisions as to what the medicine is that we need moment by moment. So when we rest and have nothing to do but feel the breath, we can tend our own body, not in a mental way, but to feel and sense the pulses, the itches, the aches, the areas that are chronic, the areas that have had trauma. We send our loving breath to those places, trusting in the wisdom of this body to heal and restore. As we open to that, we open to it, we say, yes, let me be healed. Let me become whole again. So yogis, we bring this pose to completion by bringing your knees closer to your chest, bending them if your legs have been straight, and just hug your knees in. Just lie on your side a moment before coming up. In other words, really take your time. We're going to be setting up for our next pose. For the next pose, we'll be using the bolster and 2 blocks. And we'll be lying on the back. Your pillow blanket can be right above your mat so that it's right where you know where to grab it when we need it. So this is supported bridge pose. The bolster is going to support the hips once we're on our backs. So we're on the back again now. And draw the hips up to pull the bolster underneath your sacrum, forming a little cushion and a lift. Have space for your arms each side, and then discern. Listen carefully to your body, whether to leave your knees bent or to let your legs slide out. What feels best? No judging here. Simply discern with loving kindness the right place for your body. For some, the bolster's too high. You might use simply a folded blanket. And now with this entirely different shape, there are different currents running through the body. Can you feel those? Sensations, pulsings, streamings, throbbings, and the breath. That thread that connects everything. And we're here just for about 5 more cycles of breath. Savor, enjoy each one. So lovely yogis, let's seamlessly move into our next and final pose. So bend your knees, move the bolster down to underneath your legs to support everything. Snuggle your back in, you might hug your knees in, and then draw your pillow blanket under your head. And allow your legs to release onto the support and your back to release and your arms and shoulders to release into this final pose where I would love to guide you into a lovely deepening relaxation meditation. So be as comfy as you can. And once you feel settled, bring your awareness to your heart, just as we did at the beginning. Just sense where your physical heart is, and the energetic heart right in the middle of the chest. And we're going to place symbol on the heart, just in our awareness. You don't need to move any muscles, it's simply awareness. Placing on your heart now an equilateral triangle with the point facing down. Equilateral triangle with the point facing down. And then on top of that, another equilateral triangle, this time with the point facing up. The symbol of the heart chakra in the yogic tradition, the anahat, the sound that is unstruck. And just let that image of the triangles intersecting rest at your heart. The sense now that the downward pointing triangle is receiving from the cosmos and coming down, pointing to the earth. And the upward point from the earth up to the cosmos. And now we link with breath. And so this breath incoming from the cosmos, bringing light, healing, comes in through the crown of the head into your heart and exhales and anchors in your heart and fills it with peace, healing, well-being. Your next breath arises from your lower belly. Inhale to your lower belly, to your heart, and the exhale moves up and out to the cosmos. This inhale receives again from the cosmos into your heart, anchors into the heart all that is good, beautiful. This next inhale that gathers at your lower belly is gathering all that you're ready to let go of. Judgments, self-judgment, self-criticism. Gather it up in this inhale. And then send the exhale up and out. Inhale, draw in from the cosmos. Into the heart, anchor these gifts in your heart. Next inhale is a gathering from your lower body. These are also the lower chakras where our challenges lie. Gather up all that you're ready to let go of. Fears, anxieties. Gather them up. Exhale them up and out, letting them disperse. So we're alternating breaths. Inhale from cosmos to heart. Anchor into heart, exhale. Gather on this next inhalation all that you are ready to let go of. You don't even need to itemize it. If it comes to you, do that. Gather it up. At the fullness of breath, exhale it up and out. Inhale from the cosmos into the heart. Anchor, exhale. Inhale from the lower belly, gathering up. Exhale, up and out. Do that a few more times on your own. The gathering and releasing. The receiving and anchoring. Beautiful to stay present with the sequencing of this meditative breath. We're about to add one more layer, which is a mantra. So when we are receiving from the cosmos, the inhale is the mantra so. The anchoring mantra is hum, H-U-M, hum. The gathering is hum, sending it up, sa, hum sa. Next one, so, hum, gathering, hum, sa, releasing, so, hum, hum, sa. Continue on your own. Stay with the practice. Lovely, everybody. So we complete this with the exhalation going up and out. Now just rest your awareness in the heart. Let go the mantra, let go the intentions. simply feel what is here, resting in your natural breath. Notice how you feel. In this calm, relaxed place, allow gratitude to come back into the feeling of your heart as you breathe in and around your heart. Gratitude for our group intention to restore, to renew, to regather our fragmented selves. Your personal intention, your own healing, gratitude for that, knowing that in the quantum field, this is already so. And we live in the quantum field. And we have raised our frequency as we have by lowering our anxiety. Everything is possible. And it could be that you haven't felt this calm and relaxed for a while, and for you, please feel free to stay as you are, staying in the relaxed meditative state until you discern that it is enough and you want to get up. Our time together has come to completion. And so if you are complete, just roll over to your side and come on up to sit. We are very grateful, Chris and I, to offer this to you every Sunday. We're delighted you're here. Thank you. May we all be well. Namaste.